there. I assume that you're watching this because, like me, you love model trains, and maybe you've had it out for Christmas, and now it's time to put it away, and you won't see it for another 11 months. But I wanted to be able to put it up and enjoy it all year round. And it is an O scale, so it's pretty good size. And unfortunately, our house just doesn't have the room for a large train layout like that. When I was a kid, I had HO scale, nice big 8-foot by 4-foot board. Could do a lot of stuff with that, but not so much with the O scale. So I looked around online, and there are options for mounting it from the ceiling or on the wall above normal head level to get it off the floor. And nothing really seemed to kind of solve what I needed to have, what I wanted to get out of it. So I thought I would come up with my own design. And I'm going to share that with you today. And part of what you're going to see is the track is actually already up. And I'm kind of working backwards on this because I honestly didn't know if it would even be feasible or not to get the track to work in the size space I have. But let's go ahead and I'll start showing you the process of what I've done. Okay, here is basically what I drew up. Hope that you can see this. My room is it's my office, and it's approximately 10 by 12. But I took graph paper and I measured it off accurately and scaled it down. And knowing that I was going to use a O gauge track with a somewhat smaller train, not a super long locomotive, so I could get by with an 036 gauge radius track. And what that means, in case any of you aren't familiar with it, an 036 just means that if you put all the curves together with no straights, that you get a circle, and that circle will have a 36-inch diameter. So half of that is 18 inches. So you have a radius of 18 inches. And you can figure out how to scale that down so you get a nice curve on your graph paper. The only area that was in question was this area across here, which you'll see when I show you my office shape, is I have a doorway that comes in, and there's a span from this wall to this wall. And I couldn't come straight across and then down because the turn may have been a little bit too sharp because it's kind of a narrow opening. So I decided to just cut it short and come across a little bit longer at a diagonal. But I highly suggest that you do this in the event that you can't lay your track out on the floor in the room. It would almost have to be an empty room. Well, my room's got bookshelves and pictures on the wall and a desk and chairs and all kinds of stuff. It would have been impossible to move everything. So grafting it out ahead of time just to see if it's going to work or if it's even possible is a good idea. This is the entrance to my office, so excuse the mess. I'm still working in here. But this basically is what I have, this entranceway. And then these are my corners. And you see I have windows here. I have some windows over here. And those all have frames. Since I didn't want to put a whole bunch of holes in my wall in case I want to take this down, the track down, I actually went out and bought just some strips, 1x4 strips, and I could attach those with just a few screws to the wall. And that's basically how I ended up being able to attach my supports, which you'll see here. And these can be purchased online. They're really nice little supports. They're approximately 8 inches wide. They accept the Fast Track, which is what I'm using, Lionel Fast Track. They accept it really nice. I can show you one here that's not put up. So that's it there. When it came to doing the corners, I knew that since you can't do a whole lot with the scenery and anything along the walls, I didn't really want to do that. In the corners, you have an opportunity that you could maybe create a tunnel, a mountain, or something of scenery. And so the plate that I made is about 22 to 24 inches, whatever fit between the window trim and the corner. And I just screwed the board into the bottom of that trim piece there, so that now it's supported. It's plenty strong to hold. And I've got a platform here that I can put up a fake mountain, do a tunnel or something. And I've got one corner, I've got another corner over there, and I've got another corner over there. So from this viewpoint, I'm just going to go ahead and show you my entire layout. I do have it up now. All the tracks fit together fairly well. Still working in a couple of areas to get the connections good. But this was the challenge for me, was getting this distance away from the wall and spanning these areas without having to put the supports into my sheetrock. So some of these track sections are 30-inch pieces, and some of them are 10-inch pieces. And I just did combinations of whatever worked. And like I said, I probably got lucky in that it actually did kind of come together pretty well with the pieces I selected to use. And there's my Lionel, let's see, yeah. That's the Lion Chief Polar Express version. That's what this started out as. And I'm just adding cars as I find them online, some traditional cars. The area that spans across the opening to my office is approximately 39, 40 inches. And I've got a bridge that is a steel, simulation steel girder bridge that will accept the Fast Track. And it's about 37 inches long. So I think it's gonna go nicely between here. I have my studs and my hooks already in the ceiling that I've found to support that with wire. And right now it supports the track just fine. So it shouldn't have any trouble supporting the bridge as well. So let's, oh, and one other area I was going to show you. Everything came together nicely except for this corner right here. I ended up with a gap. You see that gap there? It really needs to be from one connection, which is here, to this connection here is about 7 inches, 7.5. And I'm a little short. I've got a piece coming that I think is going to work out, but I ended up with actually a bigger gap. I had about a 2-inch gap here. And I made my own piece, and you can see it's a little rough, but it does give me a connection to the track, so I get a completed electrical circuit, and it was enough to actually let the train run. So we can go and get it hooked up, and I'll run it around and show you how it looks and sounds. Okay, so power is on to the track. Like I said, this is a Lion Chief, and it's one of the newer versions. It has the remote Bluetooth to get the whistle, bell, and if you like Tom Hanks, you can have that. But it's a pretty nice die-cast model. Reminds me of the one I had when I was a kid. So we can get it in focus here. Okay. have any guardrails up yet, so I'm taking it a little easy until I get the guardrails. I haven't quite decided what I want to use for guardrails yet. I'm still throwing a few ideas around in my head. Well, as you can see, the train gets around the track pretty good. I'm pleased with the way this project turned out, and I hope that you can use some of the information you've seen in this video in case you're wanting to do your own suspension train layout. Thanks for watching and happy modeling.